Hello, denizens! Well, Disney's Daredevil Season 1 has finished. And as with all series I review or greenlight or not the first show, I always promise to give you my final thoughts upon its completion, unless it's so bad I have to bail. I'm not doing this gig to torture myself, folks, but entertain you denizens out there. It's funny how many of us here on the Complainotube spit out the Disney prefix as more of a warning of some disaster to come. Certainly it's no longer the gold standard in entertainment it once was. Disney is more like a road sign. Unassumed road ahead. Drive at your own risk. And so far, the risks we have taken on Disney Plus has resulted in punctured tires, bent control arms, and blown transmissions. Echo, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, The Acolyte, Book of Boba Fett, Agatha all along were in only a few of the giant rock slides we've endured. It's funny, I can recall the individual disasters, but if you take all of these on aggregate, it's hard to avoid the mind-numbing collective incompetence required to assemble such a collection. Anyway, now we come to Disney's Daredevil Born Again. In a word, it's a mess, but watchable. While some of the cliffhangers encouraged me to view the next show, the slow pace, the angst-ridden Matt Murdock, the posse of women who were constantly on his back or telling him what to do or what he was doing wrong was absolutely oppressive. It made it really hard to watch. Disney just hates men. There was one episode where Murdoch's insufferable psychiatrist girlfriend took full credit for killing her patient, who turned out to be the evil muse, while snarkily dismissing Daredevil, who arrived just in time to save her, because you can't have a dude save a strong, independent woman who, if she was a competent psychiatrist, would have sussed out her sociopathic client way earlier. I won't go through a blow-for-blow detailed dissection of the series. My main observations are that Disney has no idea how to make what is ostensibly just a TV show. Disney keeps insisting on creating long-form movies that languidly unroll episodically. They don't have A or B stories that wrap up during an individual episode while the overarching story continues. Daredevil did nothing with its two main new secondary characters that replaced our two favorite secondary, well, they weren't really secondary characters, but that's a different discussion. These two were played by Clark Johnson and Nikki M. James. In fact, the characters are horrible. Then there was the tertiary characters. Plucky Gen Z BB Urich was a massive nothing burger. Fisk's unctuous assistant Daniel Blake was a good start. Bullseye shows up in episode 1, disappears, and then pops back in episode 9 as needed. Clearly, Foggy and Karen were airlifted in to not piss off the fans entirely, but Foggy gets killed in the first 3 seconds, and Karen shows up in the last episode just in time to tell Murdoch what the he should be doing, because why not? She's a girl. Murdoch's girlfriend, Heather Glenn, was maybe one of the worst ongoing characters in a series I can recall. There was absolutely no reason for him to stick with her. I hate the term cucked, but Matt was cucked in this show. I can't imagine a worse reason to tune in to the show, and I can't imagine why anyone else would want to either. Most of you know that this was Disney's attempt at resurrecting Netflix's legendary, successful, and perhaps the finest rendition of a Marvel comic book character on TV ever. Rumors had it that, of course, Disney's plan to honor the legacy of it was to trash the original and diversity, equity, and inclusion it to death. Apparently, it was all filmed, but the winds of change were slowly hitting Hollywood's shore, and someone in management deemed it a woke disaster. Disney fired the creative team and hired Dario Scardapani, showrunner for Netflix's Punisher series, to reshoot and remold it. I know what you're thinking. Why wouldn't Disney hire competent creatives eager to better the original in the first place? Because in this weird intersectional woke mind virus world, the trend is to hire creative teams that hate the original concept, source material, and author, and instead plot a new course that fits their social agenda, telling them that they should maybe try to rise to the quality of the Netflix version will just get them mad. Of course, this makes as much sense as men wanting to use women's washrooms. But this has been the trend across the comic book industry and all streamers, not just Disney. The Witcher, Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, anyone? It's really clear that Dario was attempting to salvage as much of the shot material as possible. I can't imagine that Murdoch's Harpies might have been worse than what we saw here. I'm guessing all the weepy, introspective, costumeless Daredevil was part of the first shoot. Now, that isn't to say all 9 episodes were bad. Far from it. There were highlights and brief moments that tried to mimic the excitement of the original, but the storylines were dragged out. We all knew that Vanessa was going to kill her ex-boyfriend or lover, whatever he was, which made perfect sense, but it took almost 3 episodes to get there. Just kill the guy. In fact, Fisk and Vanessa are the most interesting things in the show. The Punisher has his moments, except for his final scene where he walks right into a hornet's nest of corrupt cops, gets a few good ones in, but is overwhelmed and beaten to a bloody pulp. Somehow, the point-blank shotgun blasts didn't kill him. The Punisher would never have done that. He scopes things out. He makes sure the odds are in his favor. He has no superpowers. So we got a pretty good Punisher sequence followed by this head-scratcher. He did lecture the bad cops about appropriating his identity, though. That made them sad. In conclusion, it's not unwatchable and has its good moments. It's certainly better than any of the aforementioned Disney shows, but would I recommend it? Let me put it this way. I just started watching The Blacklist starring James Spader streaming on Netflix, of all places. I am binging it as we speak. It is funny, surprising, brutal, with a deliciously brilliant tour de force performance from James Spader, none of which I can say about Daredevil Born Again. Why I never saw the damn show in its initial run, I have no idea. But I am loving it. I didn't love Daredevil. I hope that assessment helps you. If it confuses you, that's okay too. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.